daisies. All right. Okay. Let's get situated. Oh, that didn't sound good. I gotta plug you guys up so you can withstand my babble. Oh, I don't know what we're gonna talk about today. Are you clean? I think you're clean. You're clean, you're clean. All right, I got my trusted Guff. Look at these beautiful cups I bought. I bought them at a store for restaurants because I am trying. Oh, I should put some lip gloss on. Let me put this in the back. My beautiful jacket that my mommy got me. Tried to call my mom this morning. This morning. And believe it or not, she was already on the phone. First thing in the morning, I call her the operator. She makes me laugh. She makes me laugh. I just gotta get a few things ready. So, just for the record, I was talking to my mom and we were kind of talking about, how we need people. And I was just telling her how, I don't know if you guys are getting a lot of sun in your face, but how we need people. And I was telling her how I'm starting to wonder if we need as many people as we initially were sort of led to believe, because I do believe that we're led to believe a lot of things. Oh, my little Timmies. So I buy these cards so then I don't have to have use my debit card, because I do not want them to know every purchase I make. So I actually try my hardest to take out, like cash, and then use the cash. Even though I'm sure that they have ways of, we can settle this down now. We don't need to be so loud. I have so many squirrels in my head. Yes, I'm sure they have ways of, even in your 50s, and not that I'm saying that I am in my 50s, you get pimples, man. It's like crazy. And especially when I eat something with sugar. And yesterday, I know you may not believe this. Oh, you may not believe this, but I ate an apple. So I cheated yesterday and I had some sugar. Now, just a quickie, I embarked on this experimental diet called the carnivore diet. Not out of luxury or not out of conformity. Oh, maybe that's what we'll talk about today, how I feel about conformity. Yes, because, me and my mom were talking about that. But anyway, sorry, squirrel. And of course, I didn't park reverse, which would have made it a lot easier and I'd be able to pay attention to you guys. But of course, I did the the path of least resistance, and I went forward because that was the easiest for me the other day. Actually, I think you guys were with me when I did it, because I only record and talk to you guys, cheers, when I'm going out. I don't listen to the radio because it's like I feel like it's a hammer. Ding, 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 ding. Either information, ding, 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 ding. or music. Ding, 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 ding. The rhythm is like boom, 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 boom. It's such a stupid rhythm. But then again, what can we want from pop music? Pop music only means that it's popular. Anyway, squirrel. Yeah, so pimple, sugar. I embarked on this diet. I hope it's not too shaky because we've frozen over, so everything is frozen over. I embarked on this trial of just wait, those stupid jars in the back are gonna make that noise all the way while we're talking. Give me a second. There, more better. Oh my gosh, I'm always so ready. Just joking. That's me being sarcastic. Anyway, so I embarked on this experimental diet called the carnivore diet in February, and right now we're in January, so I would have been successful for the most part. I would say 98%. Because yesterday I had an apple, and Christmas time I said, you know what, since I'm cooking, which I always do anyway, but if I'm cooking for my family and I'm just cooking a regular meal, it doesn't bother me so much. But at Christmas time, you know, we have this thing called tradition, which is completely a subject that I would love to embark on with you guys. But we have this, and because I'm Polish, we have more tradition than just a turkey. And our food is, like, Polish food is freaking ridiculous good. It's comfort food, and comfort food that's like really filling and at the same time delicious. It's not very salty, it's not very spicy, it's just right. It's like the little bear in the Three Bears story. And yesterday morning I got up because I am giving this attempt on speaking with you guys and trying to create something where I can find more freedom in my life. Because for 15 years, before then, I've worked since I was 15 years old, but for the last 15 years, we had a business where 8 days of the week we were sometimes working, 26 hours a day, 8 days a week sometimes. So, you know, now that we kind of reassessed our life, we kind of jumped off a cliff and we don't really have a parachute. Really, that's the crux of the matter. So I have no choice but to be a little braver with what I have to try to do next. And I don't know why I went on this tangent, but oh yes, so this yesterday morning, see, nearly lost it there. Yesterday morning, or all this week, I've been trying to now religiously get back to my schedule of getting up at 6 a.m. and doing reading and writing and kind of setting myself, you know, coming up with what I need to do that day. Because what's happened in the last couple of months is we've been kind of resting because we've actually been burned out. We've been so burned out that literally we wake up in the morning and we just don't even want to get out of bed. It's just been that bad. We've had a 4 years of hell, and I do understand and appreciate that many people have felt the last 4 years kind of the same way, like really hard because of the shutdowns, because of Operation C. And believe me, in my opinion, and there is a lot of evidence that this isn't just my opinion, but because I'm just chatting with you guys and we're just loosely sort of talking about our thinking, my belief in based based in facts, but my belief is that that was an operation. And there's a reason why everybody felt it. There's a reason why everybody's psychologically exhausted. Everybody's psychologically almost giving up. Why there is so many people doing what we're doing, meaning we're getting out as quickly as we can. And we're trying to live a more, what is the word? More... There is a word. I know you guys probably already know it, and it's stuck on my tongue. A more, not proper life, but more, what is the word? Not full life, not real life. Maybe more present life. So this is my friend Alan Watts from Cutting Through the Matrix, so CTTM, Cutting Through the Matrix. I'm sending her these cool cards I found. 1 second, please. Oh, I should probably get the mail while I'm at it, because that would probably be smart. Just wait. Just wanted to make sure you guys were recording. Because I've recorded a talk once and I didn't press record. Anyway. Something I didn't know. I don't know what it is. Oh, so we're in January. What day do I want to say today is? Today is the 10th. I want to say the 10th. Getting my Christmas cards now, people. You know why? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because we didn't have mail for 5 weeks. So nobody got their Christmas cards. Anyhow, I'm just getting them in slowly but surely. Anyway, so where were we? I still don't remember the word. When you're in the present, when you're in the moment, what's that word? If you remember, please type it down, because it's going to drive me crazy. And what's going to happen is at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to remember it. I might remember it by the end of this video or by the end of our talk. A more present life. Being there, being more pensive in your thinking. Hang on. So, but that aside, that's what everybody felt. So if nothing else happened in your life, you felt that psychological attack on us through Operation C. And I hope you understand what I'm talking about, because this is only I think my 3rd or 4th video. I can't remember which one. And I don't want to get pulled off because I'm saying the wrong, we have freedom and all of that, blah, blah, blah. But if I say the wrong thing, I might get pulled off. So I'd really like to keep doing this. And as I said before, it gives me a little bit of time to also think. It gives me room to mull over my thoughts a little bit more deeply. And because I've quite literally upended my life, literally and figuratively, upside down. It's completely different. I mean, I've immigrated essentially again. I've immigrated again because the first time I immigrated was to this country. But in this country, I literally feel like I immigrated from one area to another because it's so vastly different. And as a result of that, I'm not around my friends, the people that I know. I'm also not around my family, although I do speak with my mummy every day, except today I tried to call her, as I said earlier, and she was already on the phone. So I guess I had to stand in line, and at some point she might call, so this video might get interrupted because I recorded on my Apple tracker phone, and because I do it on my tracker phone, when the call comes in, the video gets abruptly switched off. So if that happens, I apologize at any time that happens. I'm not editing, I'm just getting interrupted, or we are just getting interrupted. So because Operation C happened, that was one assault on all of us. But in my life, it just so happened that there was a crescendo, and I think that that's an appropriate word, a constant one after the other of events. My cousin died, the business just started being stupid crazy. In the world of business, things were crazy, like things were behind, things were overbooked, underbooked. You couldn't meet with people that you had to. There was all of these checks and measures. So if you had employees like we did, you had to basically almost like be responsible for them. And if anybody got caught with any of the, the cold, if anybody got a cold, then right away you were, having to make sure that you are the SS bodyguards to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. And for me, I come from a communist country, and for me, that was unsettling, to say the very least. And I was very young. I was fairly young when not very young, but fairly young when I left the communist country, and I remember how it feels to have these kind of things imposed on you, and they were imposed. And see, the thing is like I said, I don't know if I already put this video up, but Canadians don't see the writing on the wall because they've never been in a situation where things are imposed on them that are detrimental to their future. Anyway, that aside, when my cousin died, and then subsequently right after that, or during that, because she died during the height of the pandemic, when that happened, everything just got upended. Then we were told simultaneously almost that, you're gonna have to move. So that would be a second move in a 3-year span. And this time, it wasn't just going to be our personal moving, it was going to be our personal plus our business. And we had, I wouldn't even call it a mid-sized business. I would say we had a small business, but it wasn't small to disassemble, if that makes any sense. Because there was one guy that said a mid-sized business is like 30 million. We weren't doing 30 million, so I would imagine that. And we didn't have more than 20 employees, so I would say we were a small business. But those are just details. So if you ever listen to Alan Watt from Cutting Through the Matrix, or actually even if you listen to other people that are really brilliant, you'll know that psychologically our bodies our psyche, our nervous system really is not designed to take on more than, say, 3 crises. And in that year, I had counted 4. So to say that we're burned out is not really covering the extent of what we were feeling. So all that background is to showcase how tired we were and how much we needed rest. We needed rest desperately. The problem with rest, I believe, is that if you rest too long, you can, just like we swing from one side of crazy to authoritarian, from authoritarian to crazy loose, you can overshoot the balance of said rest. And even if you have really good reasons to, oh God, that would have been a very bad accident if that had gone through. Sorry. A truck so there's 2 trucks, and this is the highway that's really scary. There's 2 trucks, big trucks, and then there's a truck in front of me, like a pickup truck with a snowmobile on it, and we've got only 2 lanes, one and one. Well, I guess this guy was in a rush, and he was going to pass the 2 big trucks, and there was 2 big trucks coming the other way. And thank God he swerved back, because he would have been mashed potatoes, and I'm sure I would have gotten some sort of spittle from that accident, because I'm right behind him. Okay, anyways, that was a squirrel. See? Exciting life. Oh, and by the way, today we're going to, actually, so my friend Herbie, I think I've talked about him in the past videos, and if I haven't, he's a gentleman that doesn't have a family, really, ostensibly. He's got a brother that's like absent, but he doesn't have any children. He doesn't have a wife. His wife died. Well, she wasn't his wife, she was his girlfriend, like lifelong girlfriend. And he's now in a home because he can't walk anymore. He's in a wheelchair, and we took care of him when he lived with us before, but when we moved to the forest, ostensibly, we found him a home, a really great home, 14 minutes away from our place. But the first home that we found him was ridiculous, and thank God we found it, though. We're very grateful for the home, which was awesome. It took him in, but it was an hour out, and now I'm going back to, and so now he's finally made it on the waiting list to come closer to us. But we forgot when we moved him, because it was such an emotional day. He was so emotional because he didn't really want to leave the home anymore. He had gotten used to it, but an hour away in these conditions to be going and visiting him regularly was not sustainable. And I don't mean not sustainable in the WHO and the World Economic, the WEF way, but really truly not sustainable, because we have snowstorms like sometimes a week straight. So we can't go visit him, and he would be alone. And the reason why we moved him up here with us is because he doesn't have any family. So again, all that to tell you, now I'm going back to his old home because we forgot a piece of his furniture and some plugs or like extensions for his phone charger, and something for his earphones. So I'm going to do that today because we haven't been able to establish him with his television in his room now, because I don't have the little stand. I forgot the little stand. So that gives me an opportunity to talk to you guys for like an hour each way. Sorry. Okay, so that's where we're going. So prepare yourselves. Not that you need to do much. Just grab a cup of coffee. So when we started resting, and it's been now August, September, October, November, December. So it's been 4 months, and we haven't really been resting in the traditional way, like where we sit at home and do nothing, because I've realized that that's just not our rhythm. We've been so socialized in our city that it's just not humane. We are so socialized. We have been so trained. It's like a dog. We have been trained. We've gone to puppy school. I think, it's ingrained in us that sitting and doing nothing is just wrong. And that's my indoctrination. I get all, and I never thought I'd be like that. I always thought that I was lazy. I always thought that I wasn't accomplishing much because I never did what my friends did. My friends did all the career stuff. I decided to have kids, and it was really frowned upon 20, 30 years ago. Like 30 years ago, it was frowned upon. Like that was just frowned upon. And so we didn't like sit in bed, lay around on the couch, but we did a lot more of it. Like we would get up, and I started realizing that my rhythm isn't waking up at 6 in the morning. My rhythm is back to when I was in high school, staying up late until 12 or 1. I'm a night owl, and then waking up at 8 or 9. But I started realizing very quickly that rhythm doesn't work for me, because then by the time I unwind in the morning, by the time I actually wake up, have my first cup of coffee, then potentially my second cup, or breakfast, and then my second cup of coffee, it's already 11 or 12 o'clock, and now everything is dark at 4, so we were getting nothing done. So I don't know why I'm telling you this story, but anyway, I woke up, and yesterday I woke up too early, and then I fell asleep on the couch, and then me and my mom, and then my whole day was all messed up, because I was now trying to be consistent, and my consistency flew out the window. And the one thing that I'm learning is to forgive myself for not conforming, because see, that's where I'm going with this. I'm tying it all together, you see. We are truly raised like a herd of sheep, a herd of chickens, a herd of, what's another really good animal that listens? Because, I'll tell you, goats, we ain't like goats. And if we were more like goats, or if we were more like donkeys, oh yeah, we would be better off. But we're not. We're more like sheep and chickens. My observations of my chickens have brought me to the belief that we're like chickens as well. We all run in the same directions. All of us run in the same direction. As soon as one does something, everybody follows. Just look at what happens on social media. It's so evident on social media. When one person has a story, let's say recently with the fog, mysterious fog, everybody runs with it. And in some aspects that's good, because if it's something that we need to be alarmed to, that is our benefit. But it's also our Achilles heel, because then we run with like chickens when a chicken doesn't really have anything, and everybody follows them, and then everybody follows them to only find out it's bupkis, it's nothing. We don't have discernment the way we used to. Anyway, so conformity has brought me to believe that I beat myself up when no one is around to do it. So if I don't have, say, a group of friends to show me up that I'm lazy because I have 3 more pieces of dishes in the sink, and they've already done everything, including laundry and dinner, and they still went to work, and they're still going part-time school, and they have 4 children, then I feel like a complete bag of crap. But that's because they do a much better job of getting up on that indoctrinated wheel, and they haul ass, even if it's to their detriment. Whereas me, after talking to my mom, I was saying to her that what I've noticed in the last 5 months or so, and I mean, we've been here longer, but we've been here full time only really 5 months, because we were doing the whole rat race for over a year, moving slowly because we had to start preparing for the big move. And I said to her that, because I told her I started a channel, and she's like, oh, what do you talk about? And I'm like, oh, I kind of talk about what you and I talk about, except the difference is that, you don't interrupt me every 3 sentences with love and respect. I just meander and talk, and I talk for however long I'm talking, and I don't really care. I just get it out, and it helps me process. I said, because I realize that I'm not on the phone with my friends anymore, because my friends have a completely different lifestyle now. I understand they're busy, but really, you really start getting to know your friends truly when you realize which ones call you, when you stop calling them, because I can't constantly call them and get their voice message and leave them messages. I just can't do that. I won't be doing that. I'm not going to chase anybody. So I do it, and then I wait. And then when I wait and wait and wait, well, then I wait. And because of that waiting, I've been given more what's the word? Intensively? No. Oh, it's almost that word. Sorry. Back to the word that I forgot. Intentionally. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Or Chacha, whichever one. Intentionally. Living more intentionally. So that was back in the beginning. Yeah, see, it came. It percolated. And I was telling my mom that besides her, talking to her every day, and I'm trying to now limit my talk with her for 20 minutes, which has been virtually impossible still. I've been able to wake up at 6 in the morning every morning, but I have not been able to dwindle it down to 20 minutes with my mom, because we inevitably get on tangents about this and what happened here and what they're doing here and how people are doing this. And, so we get into these tangents, and we always bring it back to our little world and how it affects us. So it's always very interesting. One day I'm just going to have to do like a podcast with my mom. But I think it'll only be on the Polish channel, because she's like, I'm not speaking in English. My English is awful. But I think you guys would get a kick out of her English. It's really cute. And so as a result, I said to my mom, I'm like, I don't think we need to be in a collective. Like, the way that they're making us into groupthink, the way that they're separating us into big groups, whether it's homosexuality, transgenderality, or carnivores or herbivores. Sorry, those are not herbivores. What are they again? Vegans? I'm sorry. My best friend is a vegan. Did I just spill? I guess I can rewind and see. I think I spilled. I'm such a klutz. I wasn't a klutz before, but now I'm becoming a big klutz. They are dividing us into little groups, and these groups they don't have a brain. Actually, if you look at it, they don't have a brain. Like, a lot of them have no brain. They don't know what they stand for. Like, there was an interview once. I did spill because I'm wet. There was an interview once with with like the LGBTQT, whatever, the long ass alphabet soup of acronyms it is. And she was actually, and I love this girl, she's awesome. She's a transgender. She was a guy, and she turned into a girl, and she's just awesome. And she goes on about how this has been subverted, and it's not at all it's not healthy now. It used to be a minority, about, I think 1% of people, and that's when they were really fighting for, visibility, rights. And now it's just gone off the rails. And I agree with her, even though she was a guy. I agree with her because she's right on the money. And this isn't just transgender or the LGBTQXYZ. That's not. It's with everything. Like I said, with vegetarianism, with people that are on the left, with whatever, with all the ladies that go and they do the vagina marches or some stupid ass shit. It's just ridiculous. Or equal rights for women. Who's ever heard of such a ridiculous thing? Equal rights. Listen, there's rights, and it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You should have them. That's it. We're not equal by any stretch of the imagination. I think women, by far, contribute to the world in very different ways than men. And men do as well. And they're equally important. But if they're the same, they become useless. It becomes a moot point if they're exactly the same. If there's no diversity between men and women, we won't procreate, for example. And we as women won't be protected. Yes, I'm going to say it right here and now. I always tell people, young women, I always tell them, women are like the flower. Men are like the flower pot. They are what helps the woman grow their seed. Because it's their seed we grow. And without being different, we can't do that. And it's a whole other subject about not having children willfully. If you are not having children willfully, I have nothing to say because I want to stay on YouTube for now. Anyways, and so I was telling her that I feel much better being more alone, which is shocking because if you met me 6 years ago, before my cousin was sick, before she died, before Operation C, before we had to make the big move, before any of that, I was one of the most social people that you know. In fact, my cousin used to laugh at me because I'm going to give this a try. Low success. I don't know where my lid is. I came with lids, but I, of course, don't know where they are. She used to laugh at me because I used to be the designated person that would go out and get everything, whether it's a stick of gum or whether it's maxi pads or whether it's drills, whatever it was. And the toilet paper fiasco, I was the one going getting toilet paper because my cousin was ostensibly a hermit. She was a hermit. And I was the complete polar opposite. I think I've discussed this before where we were so different. Oh my gosh, excuse me. But we were so compatible. We complemented each other not because of our similarities, but because of our differences. But we had enough similarities. Like, for example, men and women are human. They both have 2 arms, 2 legs. But outside of that, they vary so vastly that it's like, that's why they're a complement. But when you equalize them, they're competition, not a complement, in my opinion. Again, all my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. And when I used to come back from any kind of shopping, whether it was supposed to take only 10 minutes or whether it would have taken a little longer, I would come home and she would say, Princess. She called me Princess. Who did you run into? Who were you talking to? Why did it take you this long? Because she knew that no matter where I went, I could converse with someone or more often than not, I ran into someone I knew. Because I was so social. I mean, I liked school, not because I had to go and learn shit that I was never going to use. I remember asking my teachers, what am I going to use this for? my teachers, I remember one teacher specifically that I remember, I rolled my eyes inside my head, of course, because at that time we still respected teachers to some degree. It's in the curriculum. That was the answer as to why do we have to learn this? Like, when am I going to use this? Like, this is ridiculous. Because I'm not a very good person to remember crap and then regurgitate it. If I understand something, I know it. And if it's like a fact that really matters to me and that actually makes a point where I need to actually remember this fact for a specific reason in order to relay the information, I don't remember. I just am not that kind of learner. I went to school only and solely for the social aspect. Now, I got my 70, 75 average so that my parents were off my back. But other than that, I was there for my social part of the day. I was there to be fashionable. And at that time, I was like the Lady Gaga of my school, of every school I ever went to, because I always wore things that were way out of style. But I always made them like stylish, like the most, okay, and I always tell my husband, I was Lady Gaga who never made money on it. Like, I was the impoverished version of Lady Gaga. And the reason why, one of the reasons was a utilitarian reason. My parents came to this country with $51, 2 suitcases, and 2 children. 2 suitcases and 2 children. So there was 4 of us, $51, and 2 suitcases amongst 4 people. So you can just imagine, maybe you can't, it's very possible you can't, that basically, we didn't have money. So we went to all thrift stores. And the Polish community, and I think there was an immigration program where you had a year to get yourself on your feet. Kind of like a social welfare, like a temporary social welfare that expired within a year. So they were able to, pay rent, for example. But we never could afford clothes. Like, I remember polo was very popular, and I couldn't afford that. So I had to make do with what I had. And here's the funny part. The fact that I allegedly got ridiculed. As far as my girlfriend remembers that in high school, someone said something about something I was wearing, because I was wearing ties as a girl before it was popular. Or I remember wearing like these really high-ass platforms, and everybody's like, what are they, moon shoes? Next year, everybody's got moon shoes. But anyway, I said to my friend, I'm like, you know what? I always dressed weird, and I just remember people saying, oh, I wouldn't be able to wear that, but you pull it off. I remember, that is what I remember. But my girlfriend remembers something different. My girlfriend remembers people saying something more nasty. And guess what? I said to them, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember that. She's like, yeah, because you said you don't like it. Don't look at me. Oh. That's what I don't even remember that, because I didn't take it in. I was much better at deflecting things and being a duck when I was younger, before I got indoctrinated into the education indoctrination camp. After my indoctrination camp, I get offended, or I got offended a lot quicker. I remember the hurts much more. Whereas when I was younger, I was way more resilient. And I will tell you that the reason why I think that is I didn't start school until I was almost 8. And that made a huge difference. A huge difference. Because I'm going to tell you something. This conversation I had with my mom made me realize that we send our children to indoctrination camp not to educate them with knowledge, but to educate them on how to conform and be uniform with what the world controllers want us to think, to wear, to be offended by, what group to be in. I mean, it already started in my time. Like, we had the mods, and mods were like, I think these were the mods that were like wearing all black. Then there was the preps, which were like wearing the polos with the bob. Oh, okay, so the preps, the prep people, they would wear bob haircuts, and I hated that because it was short hair, and my mom used to like really cut my hair at home or with my mom's friends, so I always looked like a boy. So I hated like that kind of short hair, and that was the style. I got into the popular group with my then best friend. This was like in grade 5 or something like this, 5 or 6 maybe. I got into the popular group, and I was like super excited. Me and her were like super excited. We got into the popular group, blah, 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 and I was like super excited. But I had to reform. I had to like wear the pinned, like the really tightly pinned pants that had like 455 different pins in it. And you had to put them in every morning because they didn't have those kind of jeans at that time. You had to have like a polo shirt, which I had to like scour for at the thrift store, which was very difficult, and it wasn't a pretty one. Anyway, but then what happened was we also had to talk like this, and oh my god, and so like everything was like oh my god, like, and I think the likes stayed with me, but the oh my god left me. And then one day, because I'm sarcastic, and this is, I think now, I realize this now, I didn't realize this when I was a kid because I was devastated. I'll tell you why. I think I was always this averse to conformity because this was like my dream with my girlfriend, to get into the popular group. We were like, yay, we made it, yay. But then these people, you had to conform to like their, oh my God, like, oh my God, like, isn't that so awesome? Oh my God, did you watch this? Oh my God, everything is oh my God. So one day, I guess I got tired of the oh my God because it was so unnatural, and I couldn't actually like stayed. I couldn't, and I wonder if that's like a trauma thing now. I wonder if that's a trauma thing. Anyway, the oh my God, like, oh my God didn't sit well with me, and I started to kind of one day go, oh my God, like this. Like I was kind of laughing at us that's how we talk. I kind of felt like a chicken having to follow this, like, oh my God. Well, as it turns out, that's not what popular people do, okay? Popular people that are in the popular group do not make fun of the popular group antics, slogans, traditions, I mean anything. They subsequently, behind my back, with my then best friend, wait for it, had a meeting. This is like in grade 6. They had a meeting without me being present. And the next day, after making these jokes, because I was just laughing at us, right? Just kind of poking fun at us. Because, like, that's what you do, I think, when you are a freer thinking person. You have to be able to look at yourself and, like, not take yourself too seriously. I mean, don't take yourself as a joke, because, again, that's the other side of this pendulum. But I got word the next day after the meeting that they had behind my back. Can you guess? I got kicked out. Of the group. I was devastated. I went home. I went to my room. I went into my closet, closed the door where it was nice and dark, where no one would see me, and I bawled. that's what I thought. And that's what conformity does. What conformity does is it puts you in an impossible box, because you have to go into many boxes all at once, whether you see it or not. And I was a failure. At that point, I was a failure. I didn't deserve to be in this group. They went behind my back. They didn't even have like a trial where I could even apologize or grovel for their forgiveness. So I cried like a baby. My mom found me in the closet, and she thought something was wrong, something seriously was wrong. And then she's like, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." Of course, I didn't want to tell her my failures. I'm such a loser. Well, guess what? She's like, "Tell me what's going on." So I told her, and she goes, "What's the problem? Are they the only kids in the class?" My mom, the immigrant. I'm like, "No, but they're the popular people. I wanted to be popular." And she's like, "Well, then start your own group and be popular." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, I'm like, "But all the other people are losers." And she goes, "Well, then take all the losers, make a group, and you guys have a bigger group." And I'm like, I don't know. But I gave it a thought, and I just did just that. And I started a group of, I guess, ostensibly losers that were considered losers. But the group was quite big. But guess what happened? And this is where the realization occurred to me. And not so long ago, I left that group myself because I couldn't stand it, because they also started having groupthink. They also started having their own sort of things that they do constantly and always, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm out. And that's when I then became besties with my best friend from grade 7, because she came in grade 7 and she needed someone to show her around, and so I took the opportunity. And then ever since then, it was really me and her. And then one other girl that joined, but that was the height of our group. So all that to say is that schools, media, social media, and regular media, and Hollywood, and university and college, it takes out our individualism. You guys want to be individuals? Stop being in groups. Stop identifying with a group, because you're not a group. You are a human, a sovereign human. Whether you're a boy or a girl, or whether you're in between or undecided, whatever, whether you eat meat or you eat grass, it doesn't really matter. You're still human. You're going to have your individual thinking, but only if you don't join a group, and you have to abide by, oh my God. Anyway, individualism is underrated. Collectivism is on the rise, and I think that we are in this shitter because we are all collective. We are all believing that we all need to belong to some narrative, whether it's I don't want to have kids narrative, or I don't want to eat vegetables narrative, or whatever the narrative is. We need to start thinking for ourselves. And that means we need to stop going and becoming groupthink. Finding time to be alone, not trying to make sure that we have, we're in check, and that if we're not in check, we're losers. I think the reason why depression and anxiety is happening is because we're in an unnatural structure. It's not natural to conform all the time. We are like Aldous Huxley wrote A Brave New World Revisited, and in that book there's something about the fact that conformity kills the humanity, the individualism in us. When we're like a beehive, it kills our ability to reflect on ourselves, because we believe we have the beliefs of the group, and the group is nothing but a bunch of individuals that have just decided to leave their brain behind because it's whatever the group wants. And I believe that's true. I believe that what he said, I think the book was written in 59, is more true today than it was in 59, because there was a lot more free thinking people in 59. And I encourage you to think about that. Like, think about what it is that you believe, and then what it is that you do just to satisfy your group, your people, the people of your peers. I encourage you to do that. And now I'm in the little town where my friend had his other home. So that means I'm close to like 50 minutes. I'm really sorry that I've gone so long. But meandering, I don't script this, obviously. Meandering thoughts, even if they're thorny, I feel are a way where we're all going to get out of this. If we all can stop and just think, even if it's meandering, you get looped. And why was I thinking this? How come I started thinking this in the first place? You get lost in your thoughts and you go around and around, and like intentional living, it finally came to me after it percolated. A good cup of coffee really needs to percolate, or it needs to steep, or a good cup of tea needs to really steep. And we are no different. There's so many analogies that I can put to that. Anyway, I'm almost there, and I hope that you get the gist of this. But basically, I think we need to stop being more like sheep, and we need to stop allowing ourselves to use the narrative that we're sheeple, because the more we say it, the more we live it, the more real it becomes, and it becomes actually our reality. So, thanks for listening. If you've gotten this far, thanks for listening. And drop comments below and let me know what you think. If you think that this is just wrong, and if it's wrong, why is it wrong? Yeah, I'm open to jostling some ideas around. I'm wondering what people out there think. All right, I'm almost here. So like I said, it's like 55 minutes to get here. So, and I drive like a granny. Oh, this pimple is so bad. Anyway, I forgot to tell you why the carnivore thing. I see I meandered way off that. Anyways, have a great day wherever you are. I hope the sun's shining, because it isn't here. And I hope that maybe you don't have snow, because that's a bonus. Have a wonderful day, and may you get carried